Some celebrities buy cars for style. Elvis? He bought them for soul. From pink Cadillacs to jet black limos, the king didn't just drive cars, he collected icons. Some were flashy, some were fast, some were flat out weird, but every single one, pure rock and roll on wheels. Today, we're diving deep into Elvis Presley's insane car collection, the hidden stories, movie cameos, and jaw-dropping rides you never knew the king owned. Let's kick things off with a Cadillac so famous, it deserves its own platinum record. Number 15. 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60, the pink Cadillac. This car isn't just famous, it's legendary. The 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 is often called Elvis's pink Cadillac, and for good reason. He bought it early in his career when he was still on the rise. Not yet the global superstar we remember, and instead of keeping it for himself, Elvis gave it to his mother, Gladys. The thing is, she couldn't even drive, but that didn't matter. For Elvis, it was about love, family, and style. At first, the car was blue, but Elvis had it repainted a soft pink shade known as Elvis Rose. That color would go on to become one of the most famous car colors in history. The car had a white roof, long chrome lines, and a luxurious interior. It looked like something a movie star would drive, and that's exactly what it became. A symbol of Elvis's new life and his place in pop culture. Even though this car never appeared in one of Elvis's movies, it played a huge role in his early career. He and his band, the Blue Moon Boys, traveled across the South in it while performing small gigs and trying to make a name for themselves. Fans who saw Elvis live back then remember the pink Cadillac almost as clearly as they remember the music. It wasn't just a ride. It was a rolling stage for the birth of rock and roll. Today, replicas of the pink Cadillac are displayed in museums, and the original is safely kept at Graceland. More than just a car, it became a symbol of 1950s Americana, style, and the dream of success. Elvis didn't just sing about the American dream, he drove it. Number 14. 1956 Lincoln Continental Mark II, class on four wheels. If the pink Cadillac was Elvis's heart, the Lincoln Continental Mark II was his crown. In the mid-1950s, Ford wanted to create a car that could compete with the best luxury brands in the world, including Rolls-Royce. The result was the 1956 Lincoln Continental Mark II. It was sleek, long, elegant, and built by Ford's special luxury division called the Continental Division. Only about 3,000 were ever made, and they were not cheap. This car cost over $10,000 when it was new, more than a Rolls-Royce at the time. Elvis bought his Mark II just after he appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1956, a performance that launched him into nationwide fame. So, in a way, the car marked the moment Elvis went from a southern rockabilly star to America's biggest name in show business. The Mark II didn't have the flash of a Cadillac, but it had something different: class. It was clean, powerful, and quiet, with a 6-liter V8 under the hood and smooth lines that gave it a timeless look. Unlike most cars at the time, the Mark II didn't feature a lot of chrome or fancy fins. Instead, it went for a more European, elegant look. Inside, it was pure comfort. Fine leather seats, real wood trim, and top-of-the-line materials everywhere you looked. This wasn't a car for racing or showing off. It was a car for arriving in style. Elvis loved the Mark II so much, he kept it as one of his personal favorites during the late 50s. It fit the new image he was building, not just a young rebel, but a superstar with taste. This Lincoln showed that Elvis wasn't just a rock star, he was becoming the king. Number 13. 1957 BMW 507, the German Heartbreaker. This one's for the gearheads. The BMW 507 is a drop-dead gorgeous roadster with a 3.2-liter V8 under the hood, and Elvis drove it while stationed in Germany during his military service. He reportedly bought it used from a race car driver. No joke, the white paint couldn't handle the lipstick stains from adoring fans. So, Elvis had it repainted red. Rockstar problems, right? This car sat forgotten for decades before BMW restored it and put it on display in 2016. Today, it's priceless. Number 12. 1960 Rolls-Royce Phantom V. Elvis goes full royalty. You can't call yourself the king and not drive a Rolls. Elvis's Phantom V was black, stretched, and filled with enough gadgets to make James Bond jealous. Electric windows, a bar, a record player, even a damn telephone. This car was less about driving and more about making an entrance. He famously rolled up to the set of Blue Hawaii in this monster, where the car caused nearly as much buzz as the man himself. Number 11. 1966 Cadillac Eldorado convertible. Vegas vibes before Vegas. You could fit a small family or 3 backup singers in this enormous drop top. Elvis drove this pearlescent white beauty during his comeback years. It screamed power, wealth, and a little danger, just like his leather jumpsuit in the '68 comeback special. No official movie appearance, but fans say he used this car while preparing for his Vegas residency, and yes, it had gold trim. Number 10. 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, the everyday legend. Even superstars need a car for regular days. For Elvis, that was his turquoise 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. While most of his cars were flashy Cadillacs or limousines, the Bel Air was his more casual, everyday ride. But let's be honest, Elvis could never really go unnoticed, no matter what car he drove. The '57 Bel Air was one of the most popular American cars of the 1950s. It had a bold design, lots of chrome, and those classic tail fins that screamed style. With a powerful V8 engine and smooth ride, it was perfect for cruising around Memphis or grabbing a bite at the local diner. Elvis reportedly used this car while filming Jailhouse Rock, although a different vehicle appeared on the screen. Still, fans often spotted him behind the wheel of his Bel Air during this time. It wasn't his flashiest car, but it was still cool, just in a more relaxed, all-American way. Think of it as the king's way of blending in, as much as Elvis ever could. Number 9. 1969 Mercedes-Benz 600, the VIP ride. Now, this was no ordinary car. The 1969 Mercedes-Benz 600 was known around the world as the choice for presidents, celebrities, and the super rich. It had a huge 6.3-liter V8 engine, advanced air suspension for a super smooth ride, and just about everything powered by hydraulics. Windows, seats, even the trunk. At the time, it was one of the most advanced and expensive cars money could buy. Elvis had one, of course. He used it during his Las Vegas years as his main ride for going to shows and making big entrances. It was long, black, and impossible to miss. Some people called it the Mafia Mercedes because it looked like something a powerful boss would drive, and that fit Elvis's larger-than-life image perfectly. Here's a fun fact. Elvis reportedly bought the same model used by the Pope. If that's not a flex, what is? This car wasn't just for comfort, it was for showing the world you were on a different level. Number 8. 1973 Stutz Blackhawk 3, the rockstar showpiece. If there was one car that screamed Elvis Presley, it was the Stutz Blackhawk. This car looked like a mix of classic luxury and a wild custom design. The version he loved most was the 1973 model. It was hand-built in Italy, but powered by a massive Pontiac V8 engine, so it had both style and muscle. The Blackhawk had gold trim, a deep red leather interior, and a long, low body that looked like it belonged in a parade. And that's exactly how Elvis treated it. He had one delivered straight to Graceland, and it quickly became one of his favorite cars. He was even known to sign papers, like record deals, in the back seat. Elvis owned more than one Blackhawk, but the 1973 stood out. It wasn't just transportation, it was part of the show. With this car, Elvis didn't just arrive, he made an entrance. Number 7. 1956 Messerschmitt KR200, the tiny surprise. Now, here's something nobody expected. The 1956 Messerschmitt KR200 wasn't your typical Elvis car. It was a tiny three-wheeled bubble car made in Germany, originally designed by an airplane company after World War II. It had a single-cylinder engine, just one door that opened from the top like a jet canopy, and room for 2 passengers, if they didn't mind getting cozy. It could barely reach 50 miles per hour, and it looked more like a toy than a real car. So why did Elvis buy it? No one's quite sure. Some say he thought it was funny. Others believe he liked odd, one-of-a-kind things. It may have even been a gift or a collector's item for his Graceland estate. Either way, the KR200 stands out as one of the weirdest vehicles Elvis ever owned. It didn't sparkle, it didn't roar, and it definitely didn't scream rock star, but that's what makes it interesting. For a man known for big performances and big cars, this little thing showed a different, more playful side of the king. Number 6. 1971 Tomaso Pantera, the car that got shot. Now we're back to wild stories. The 1971 Tomaso Pantera was a sleek Italian-designed sports car with an American-made V8 engine under the hood. It looked fast, and it was. With sharp lines, low stance, and a rumbling Ford 5.8-liter engine, the Pantera was made to impress. Elvis bought one for his girlfriend, but things didn't go smoothly. One day, the car wouldn't start. Elvis tried again, nothing. Frustrated, he did what only Elvis would do. He took out a gun and shot it. Not once, but twice, right there in the garage. Believe it or not, those bullet holes are still in the car today. It's on display in a museum, frozen in time as the vehicle that dared to defy the king. It's not just a car anymore. It's a piece of rock and roll history and maybe a reminder not to break down in front of Elvis Presley. Number 5. 1958 Ford Thunderbird, the cool cruiser. If you had to pick a car that matched Elvis's charm in the late 1950s, the 1958 Ford Thunderbird would be it. Sleek, powerful, and stylish, the T-Bird was made for smooth rides and turning heads. Elvis's personal Thunderbird was jet black, with shiny chrome details and a white leather interior that looked as sharp as one of his stage outfits. This wasn't just a car, it was a statement. At a time when Elvis was rising to superstar status, the Thunderbird helped show he had both style and taste. It had a big V8 engine, smooth suspension, and enough space to cruise in comfort. Elvis was often seen driving this car while dating Hollywood actress Natalie Wood. Just picture that scene, the king of rock and roll behind the wheel, and a movie star riding shotgun. It sounds like something straight out of a romantic film, but it was real life for Elvis. And the Thunderbird? It played its part perfectly. Number 4. 1970 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, Vegas on wheels. By 1970, Elvis wasn't just a music star, he was a full-blown icon. In his ride, the Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham was the perfect match. This wasn't just a luxury car, it was a rolling palace. Big, bold, and built for comfort. The Fleetwood Brougham was Cadillac's top-of-the-line model, made for those who wanted to be seen. Elvis's version was something special. He ordered it in shimmering gold, with a clean white leather interior that popped like one of his rhinestone jumpsuits. But Elvis didn't stop there. He had a TV built into the dashboard, a record player in the back, and even a small refrigerator. This wasn't transportation. It was a mobile lounge built for a man who ruled Las Vegas. The 1970 Fleetwood came with a massive 7.7-liter V8 engine and all the bells and whistles Cadillac could offer. Power windows, automatic climate control, extra sound insulation. Everything was made to feel smooth and silent. It was made for long drives or slow rolls down the Vegas Strip. Eventually, Elvis gave the car to his personal doctor, Dr. George Nikopoulos, also known as Dr. Nick, as a thank you gift. Only Elvis could hand someone a gold Cadillac like it was a thank you card. Today, it stands as one of the flashiest and most personal vehicles the king ever owned. Number 3. 1975 Ferrari Dino 308 GT4, the Italian stallion. Most people don't connect Elvis Presley with Ferraris. He usually preferred big American cruisers with soft suspensions and loads of chrome, but the 1975 Ferrari Dino 308 GT4 was a rare exception. This car was sleek, low, and built for speed. It couldn't have been more different from his usual taste. The 308 GT4 was a bold move for Ferrari at the time. It was the first mid-engine V8 car they ever made, and the first to carry the Dino badge under the Ferrari name. Designed by Bertone, not Pininfarina, which was usual for Ferrari, it had sharp angles and a wedge shape that screamed 1970s supercar. Under the hood was a 3.0-liter V8 that could rev high and move fast, making it one of the most exciting Ferraris of its day. Elvis bought this red beauty but didn't keep it long. He reportedly gave it away to a friend not long after. Maybe the stiff suspension and low-slung driving position weren't his thing. Or maybe it was just a cool toy he wanted to try. Still, it shows that even the king of rock and roll couldn't resist Italian engineering and that famous prancing horse badge. At least for a little while. Number 2. 1973 Lincoln Continental, the last ride. Not every car in Elvis's collection was bought for fun. Some carried deep meaning, and this one marked the end of an era. The 1973 Lincoln Continental used in his funeral procession was long, black, and serious. It wasn't made to turn heads or show off. It was made for a final goodbye. The Lincoln Continental had been a symbol of American luxury for decades. The 1973 version was large and elegant, powered by a 460 cubic inch, 7.5-liter V8. It was known for its quiet ride, heavy body, and smooth presence on the road. It was often used for official events, government vehicles, and sadly, funerals. On August 18, 1977, this car led the convoy from Graceland to Forest Hill Cemetery in Memphis. Fans lined the streets to catch a glimpse, many in tears. It didn't have gold trim, a custom paint job, or hidden gadgets, just a deep sense of respect and history. After years of thrilling the world with his voice, style, and charm, Elvis made his final journey in a car that matched the gravity of the moment. This Lincoln didn't need to shine. It carried the king of rock and roll on his last ride, and that made it unforgettable. Number 1. The Mystery Cadillac, Elvis's favorite gift. Out of all the cars Elvis Presley owned, drove, or posed with, this one isn't famous for its horsepower or style. It's famous for what it represented. Nicknamed the Mystery Cadillac, this car wasn't tied to a movie, a concert, or even a specific model. Instead, it symbolized Elvis's most personal passion, giving. Throughout his life, Elvis gave away over 200 Cadillacs. Let that sink in. 200. And not just to family or close friends. He handed keys to fans, hotel workers, fellow musicians, and total strangers. If someone admired a car Elvis owned, there was a real chance they'd walk away with it, free of charge. He didn't do it for the headlines. In fact, most of these moments happened quietly, without cameras or reporters. One of the most famous stories took place at a Memphis dealership. A woman was admiring a shiny new Cadillac on the lot. Elvis noticed, walked over, and asked if she liked it. When she nodded yes, he said, "It's yours," handed her the keys, and strolled off like it was the most normal thing in the world. The woman fainted on the spot. Why did he do it? Maybe it was because Elvis grew up poor and knew what it felt like to want something you couldn't afford. Maybe he just loved the look of surprise and joy on someone's face. But one thing's clear, Elvis loved Cadillacs. Not just for himself, but as a way to spread happiness. And that's why this mystery Cadillac stands above all the rest. It wasn't one car. It was every car he gave away. Whether it was pink, gold, white, or blue, if it came from Elvis, it became something special. A simple act of kindness, wrapped in chrome and V8 power. In the end, the King's most powerful ride wasn't the fastest or the flashiest. It was the one he gave away with a smile. Elvis didn't just drive cars, he lived them. Chrome, fins, white walls, and horsepower ran through his veins like music. Some stars collect trophies. Elvis? He collected stories on wheels. So which of the king's cars would you want to the bullet-ridden Pantera, or the Vegas gold caddy with a fridge? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell faster than Elvis. Hit those high notes, because this car collection ain't nothing but a thrill ride, baby.